This is the Above Average Podcast, and you are listening because you want an above average life. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Above Average Podcast, the podcast where we talk to above average people about their above average lives. Now, my guest today is the host of the podcast Heywood and Stuff, where he invites people into open, honest, and sometimes wild conversations about identity, mental health, addiction, art, and everything else in between. He's a videographer, storyteller, and a tattoo collector, and someone who's been through the ringer of personal transformation. I was actually a guest on his podcast not too long ago, and it was one of those rare sort of free-flowing chats that I really love, and it got deep really pretty fast. So I'm excited to flip the mic back onto you, mate, and talk about you today. So from birthmarks and social anxiety to sobriety and fatherhood to navigating ADHD and building a platform with purpose, this is truly a man worth listening to. So please welcome the one and only Heywood Similon-Taylor to the show. How are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Thank you. That was a beautiful intro.
Welcome to my show.
Appreciate it. It's nice to be here. I've been watching your clips and your podcast for so long. To actually be here now is quite.
Is it
trippy.
Is it as nice a studio as you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, it is. It's nice. Because
you were like, this is an actual brick.
Yeah. I was surprised that this wasn't as bricky as it looks on TV, but that's a testament to you and what you're doing
in the editing. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited because we spoke a lot about. I mean, we did Luke's episode first. So that's how I met you, and you filmed me and Luke having an episode in your studio, and then I came back and I think we sat for like a good 45 minutes just chatting shit while the files uploaded, didn't we? So
yeah.
So we've had quite a few chats over the months, but there's a few things that I'm still not sure about with you. So let's start with younger. You're a mystery, man.
There's one thing about you I'm not quite sure.
Well, that's what we're going to get into, mate. So let's start with younger you, because I always like to take guests back to the early days. So what kind of kid were you growing up? Were you much different to how you are now?
Yeah, I'd say so. I was the kid that was bouncing off the walls. I was always I was very hyperactive in a nutshell. I was always getting in trouble. I wasn't a bad kid per se, but I was always doing the things you weren't supposed to do.
Okay.
And I quite quickly developed this sense of like, I want to make everybody laugh and be the clown. And so I quickly took on that role, even as like a young kid.
Were you let into like a class clown in school? Or?
Yeah, in school, that was my, I was an anxious kid, right? Like on the inside, I was, even at 5 years old, I remember the first days of kindergarten, like bawling my eyes out, hiding behind my mum's legs, not wanting to go in. I was really scared.
Yeah.
And then I knew that if I could make other people laugh, they would like me, and then I'd be safe.
Yeah.
I didn't know this at the time, that's what I was doing, but when I look back, I'm like, oh shit, that kid was just wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
And like humor was kind of my way of doing it.
Yeah, I think that's the story of a lot of kids these days, is like we just want to be accepted as kids. You know what I mean? Like, but we don't understand that's what we want to do. I think, because like I always like to think I was funny when I was in school, but I used to get told to shut the fuck up a lot by my friends. So maybe I was taking it too far, or I didn't understand why other people would get the jokes in and people would laugh at them, but not me. So I think growing up, I was very much similar, where I didn't understand social cues a lot as well. That was a big issue for me.
Yeah.
But you've spoke about many times in your own videos, and I know you did a video for Scene TV about the birthmark on your face. So I know we spoke about that as well. Yeah. So what was your feelings like that when you were younger? Because you said in the interview, I think, that you weren't really sure, you didn't really understand what it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, when you're little and you've got a facial difference, because you've grown up with it, you don't realize it's that different until you do. And the first time I really was made aware was one of the first days at school, and there was this kid behind a gate, and they were like, "What's that on your face?" And my reaction was like, "Oh, it's just a birthmark." And then from then I was like thinking, why did they point that out? Now, I was really lucky that I was never bullied for having a birthmark, because I know other people in like the birthmark community have been, or other people with facial differences, they've been seriously bullied. But I've only ever had like a few over the years, like online, but never in person.
Yeah.
But having said that, I became very self-conscious of it later on when I got a bit older.
You can see it. You see it every day, so you're kind of constantly reminded of it.
You see it every day, and you're never quite sure. You know what it was about the birthmark that really started getting to me was, as a kid, older people would always make comments on it,
Okay.
Whether it was positive or negative almost wasn't a problem. It was like, but you'd be pointed out because of your birthmark. And that was like, made me self-conscious because I was a bit anxious anyway. So I didn't want to be different.
Yeah.
And that used to get to me a little bit. And then I'd always have people trying to reassure me like, oh, but it doesn't matter this, or, oh, but your birthmark makes you who you are. And that used to always really annoy me because it's like, but I am who I am regardless of the birthmark.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is there so much fucking emphasis on this birthmark? And then ironically, it became such a big issue in my mental health, like growing up.
Are you talking like teen years when you start to become more, where you start to care about your appearance?
Yeah. Teen years and like young adult years especially. Every time I remember it so clearly, I'd have like really bad social anxiety in public with people I didn't know was always the issue. So I'd walk down the street and I'd have like, I'll give a very like bloke example, right? I walk down the street and I see an attractive girl and that would make me feel a little bit uncomfortable anyway.
Yeah.
But then she would look at me and then quickly look away. And that quickly look away thing was like, I could never tell why. Is that because, more because you think or is it because of the birthmark, or is it, there's an awkward thing about it. And there was a couple of times where younger kids would ask their parents like, oh, what's that on his face? And then the parents would like hush them like, oh no, don't talk. And then that would become a thing. And it's like, this doesn't have to be this awkward.
Yeah.
And the problem isn't everybody else. It was, I allowed it to manifest into this big issue where I was concentrating on this birthmark on my face, which now doesn't actually, I don't think about it much.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting you say the thing about looking, because obviously, I don't have a birthmark on my face, but one thing I did struggle with was my thoughts towards my hairline, because I don't know whether you've noticed me, but I have no hair.
Yeah, you're bald.
And yes, I am. I am Patrick Stewart all up in this bitch. Yeah, but that was one thing that I would see people do. They would look in your eyes and then go,
"Oh shit, man."
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would see that, and I'm like. And you're like, yeah, you're looking at my receding hairline. Yeah, I can notice it. But it is one of those things that I can, obviously it's not the same example because it wasn't for a lot of my life, but it was something that still bothered me, and I would still look in the mirror every day and see. So I'm sort of trying to relate to you in that way. Like I know what it's like to have people sort of look and then go,
yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean?
The funny thing is, like, because we're all curious humans, right? So we're always looking, and if there's anything a little bit different or what we've got like a prejudged thought on, we'll have a look. But most of us don't care as much as the person that's being looked at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all those people that stared at my birthmark and then looked away, generally they're looking away because they don't want to seem rude. Yeah. They don't actually care that much. It's just intrigue.
Yeah, they're not going away going, you know what I saw on the street today. They're not thinking about it.
Yeah. I'm the one that walks away from that interaction thinking about it much longer. Yeah. And that's what I had to work on to overcome that kind of head fuckery I was dealing with.
I suppose one of the things I was always taught about appearance was, because obviously I have very thin face. Obviously I started losing my hair and I sort of look like, them Space Radar crisps. That's kind of what I look like. You know what I mean? But thankfully I've got to a point now where it was like, I was also told, what you can't fix, you feature. And I love that phrase because it was like, if you've got a big nose, don't try and hide it. Just let it be part of your face, If you've got a receding hairline, either go bald so it becomes a feature of you.
Absolutely.
Or don't try and hide it, because when you try and hide it, that's when people are like, I see what you're doing.
Were you ever hide it. Tempted for the classic comb over?
Well, I kind of was in a way. I had like a little quiff and I would hairspray the shit out of it. That's like, I would stand in the room and be like, okay, so it was rock hard, like, because if any wind
do not move.
Yeah, it was like literally like, I want, like, like anime characters where they'll like fall in water or go through like hell and their hair's like still perfectly spiked or something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's how I wanted it, but it was just, people would like try and touch it and it's like, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, don't touch my hair. But now I'm like, yeah, you can slap my bald head all you want, guys. You know what I mean?
When did you finally take the step to shave it off?
It was an accident.
Okay.
So it was I was doing some filming work in Finland, and we were it was me and my friend or boss at the time, Luca, who later became like a really good friend of mine, and he was like, mate, I'm not gonna lie to you, your hair, something needs to happen about this because it's horrendous. I was like thanks, mate, because everyone else had just been like, oh yeah, you look all right with it, you kind of suit it, but he was like the first person to kind of go,
that's a good friend.
Sort out. Yeah, he was. Well, he was a military guy as well, so he was kind of like
bullshit.
Just yeah. But anyway, we went to this Finnish barber's because he was getting his hair cut too, and he kind of had like a receding hairline too, but he had it cut like really short, so it kind of suited him. And me and this barber, he wasn't from Finland and he didn't speak English. He was from Pakistan, so he didn't. There was no language communication going on whatsoever. And I made the mistake of kind of making this thing, to shave head, and he just shaved it bald straight in front of me, and I was like, well, I guess I've got a buzz cut now.
Right.
But it was kind of like a fluffy buzz cut. But now I shave it basically right down to the bone, which I prefer. So.
And now do you feel like you don't have to worry about it? You don't have to think about it?
It was great. I remember the first morning after I got it shaved, and I woke up and just touched my head, and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to comb it. I don't need to hairspray it.
Yeah.
I don't need a hairdryer. It's great. But I take better care of my beard than I ever did my hair.
Yeah, you've got a great beard. You have got a great beard.
Thank you, man.
I just want to add, like for me with the birthmark thing, like I got to a place where I was comfortable with my birthmark, but then I still think for anyone that then wants to remove their birthmark, they should go for it. It's like I see blokes that get hair transplants,
and stuff,
and I'm like, fucking go for it. Like, why not? I'm like a huge, like, if you can make tweaks to the way that you look and you're doing it in a healthy way, then I think you should.
Yeah.
And it's a couple of years ago, I was growing these nodules on my birthmark.
Okay.
And I've made peace with the way that my birthmark is and the way that I look. But these nodules I didn't love because they were like bubbly. And then I got them removed and I felt a bit better for it.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Could you get that removed if you wanted to?
Now, the lasers that they've got, I could get it removed like 98%.
Okay, so the next question would be, why not?
It's it's not at the forefront of my mind much, so I don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's also really expensive. If I had like the money, maybe I would, but I'd be doing it more out of like for the fun of changing my appearance rather than getting rid of my birthmark.
Yes, it comes from a place of just I want to change rather than I hate it. Yeah. Which is probably a much healthier place to come from for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
But I know obviously social anxiety is a big part of it. When did it become? When did you start to feel a bit more secure in your self-image? Because I know obviously if anyone's not watching this, Heywood has quite a few tattoos. So because I know you kind of you've got tattoos on your face as well, which kind of for me draws away from the birthmark. Was that the idea initially? Or?
It wasn't intentional. It definitely has done that. I started getting tattooed when I was 19, and I was always in awe. I remember this one time I was on the bus in Spain, Costa del Sol, which is where I grew up. And this one guy came onto the bus. I was about 14, 15 years old, and he was covered in tattoos. In hindsight, actually, not more covered than I was, but it was neck, arms, and it was like the most covered tattooed person that I had seen in person. And he was so confident and so like appearingly assured of himself. And I was like, fucking hell, like I wish I had that kind of confidence. Anyway, I became like fascinated with tattoos, and I was like, I'm going to get tattooed one day. Yeah. So like 19, I got my first tattoo, and then I got like bits and bobs.
Where was your first one?
It was on the side of my stomach. The side of my stomach is like a scorpion. Nice. Because I'm really cool and I'm a scorpion.
Yeah, it's badass, man.
And which I later found out I'm not, actually. I'm a Sagittarius. That's how cool I am.
Got it. Chorus strip. Tattoo fixes help.
Yeah, right. And then in my mid-20s, then I started getting my first sleeve, and I started getting more and more and more. And then when I was 29, I want to say, I moved to Barcelona. And I accidentally fell into a job working at a tattoo studio, doing social media content and photography.
Nice.
And that's when the process of getting tattoos really started going up. Like I got my neck and my chest and my back and all the rest of it. But when I got my neck tattooed, I noticed a shift in the way. And at this time, I'm still quite anxious, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Fuck, hold on. Wait. I'm skipping timelines.
That's all right. That's how podcasts work, where we skip around all over the place. Don't worry about it.
In terms of my social anxiety, right? There's like two phases where it kind of, I got out of the real chaos of being socially anxious. That's when I was like 27. That had nothing to do with tattoos. That was me going to the gym, getting in shape and building up that confidence. So that was like from the inside, really, that confidence of going to the gym, putting on muscle weight made me feel great. But I was still socially anxious in a lot of like public settings. When I got my neck tattooed, I noticed a shift in the way that people looked at me. And for the first time, they weren't really just looking at my face, they were looking at my neck. And it was like, I was very aware of it. It was really bizarre because the looks were different. and there was a bit more of like an admiration in some people's eyes rather than just a like, oh, I shouldn't look sort of thing. It's almost like, I mean, maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but it's almost like because of all the tattoos, I was giving people permission to look more without like, oh, we shouldn't look kind of thing. That's how I view it. Then when I was 35, I finally had built the confidence where I no longer cared what people thought about the birthmark. So people could stare, but I wasn't noticing people staring. I wasn't even noticing people looking at me on the street anymore. It just kind of happened gradually. And as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm going to get my fucking face tattooed. Because I wanted to carry on developing this like look.
Yeah. It's a powerful look.
Because I like it, right? And I was, as soon as I got comfortable with people looking at my face, I was like, fuck it, I'll get it tattooed then. It's almost like, let's see.
If you're going to look, let's see how far I can take it.
It's like, let's see what happens next. And then I got this bit on the side, which is it's a 3B. So it's a 3 and a B, and that's for like the 3 most important women in my life. So it's my mum, Beatrice, my partner, Briggy, and my daughter, Bella. And so it was very symbolic, and so in my head, I justified it.
Yeah. It's cool though, because at least it's not random, you know. I mean something like a lot of people look at me and think I should have tattoos.
Yeah, you look great with tattoos.
But I'm like, it doesn't. It's not that it's nothing that I've got against tattoos. It's not like I'm like, oh, tattoo is scummy. It's just like, it's not something that I feel like I changed my mind. I'd get one and then be like, well, I want to take it off and put something else there. Do you know what I mean? I'm very much that kind of person.
Yeah.
But maybe one day I'll get a sleeve. My mum doesn't like tattoos. She's very much from that generation where like she doesn't mind them if they're tasteful, I think, but I think she's slowly coming around to the idea of tattoos. So I'm going to sign her up for one for her 60th. I'm going to get her one, yeah.
Yeah, do it,
I'm going to get like juicy across her ass.
Yeah, she'll love it. Yeah, give her something really classy.
Just to dig with her, because that's the kind of relationship I have with my mother. I will do things like that for her.
I think tattoos are like, I mean, everyone's got like a thought on what tattoos are about, but I could never have appreciated how much confidence I would get by having the tattoos. And I never got the tattoos to be more like confident about the way that I looked, but it just kind of, it was like a byproduct of it. The more tattooed I got, the more comfortable I felt in my own skin. And it's so fucking cliche, but I mean, it's a cliche for a reason, right? Like it just happened.
It helps, yeah.
And then and then the more I got my face tattooed, I was just like, God, I mean, people would say like clearly doesn't care how he looks. I do care how I look. I just don't care what you think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a difference.
You want to look how you want to look. Yeah. No,
I'm comfortable with the way I look, and I don't mind what anyone else thinks. And if I get compliments, wicked. I appreciate you.
Do people mention the face tattoos, or do they stray away from it?
Some people do, not many. Briggy, my partner, she's got a very like prominent neck piece. She gets complimented a lot more, but I think it's probably safer for people to say it to a woman with a neck tattoo than some geezer covered in face tattoos.
Nice.
Because there is an element of like, what am I looking at? Who is this guy?
Well, to be fair, I remember, because obviously I hadn't met you, I just knew that you had the studio and you were in talks with Luke and that we were going to go down. Obviously, I think the first thing I looked at was this one on the top of your head. I didn't notice the birthmark, it was the tattoos that I saw first. Yeah. And I was kind of like, there's a moment, I think, where you're like, whoa, this is but not in a bad way. It was more of a, this is like an interesting looking dude. Do you know what I mean? It's like, whoa. Like, because like, I think people will... I think it's easy to want to blend in and fit in with the crowd and like be really like, I look around now and it sounds really horrible, but I don't give a shit. I look around the gym and there's 2 types of teenagers. They've all got the Thomas Shelby haircut, which looks like a weird flat cap, but in hair form. I don't know whether you know this. Or like the noodle head, where it's like a bunch of little curly noodles. And I'm like, I would not recognize any of you. Like, I would not be able to point you out of a crowd because you all look the same now. Yeah. But I remember the people that are a little bit different, and I really admire the people that not go out of the way to be different for the sake of being different, but just they look different, and it's just how they are. Do you know what I mean? And I really love that. Maybe it's because I look really bland, but
I don't think you look bland. I think you definitely got a look. I mean, I would say to anyone who's ever contemplating getting their neck or face tattooed, like
it's a big commitment.
For me, like I grew up my whole life getting looked at because of the birthmark, so I kind of had like practice for 30 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're one of those that just kind of blend in and then you get a face tattoo, there's a shift in the way that people look at you, and that can be jarring.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think people make judgments about the tattoos when they meet you for the first time?
Yeah, they do. They openly do. And the only people that have openly said it to me are, funnily enough, like older women. where I've talked to them.
I can just imagine sitting you opposite the ferry, an old woman just having a go at you.
Yeah, well, some older people are so comfortable to talk to anyone, which is really nice. And I think sometimes they're talking to me to see what I'm about, and then they realize that I'm quite normal.
Yeah.
And then they openly say like, "Oh, I never would have expected you to be like what you are because of the tattoos."
Yeah.
And I'm like, good. Like that's exactly the stereotypes that I'm trying to.
Because it's changed. The attitude towards tattoos has changed a lot, even from when I was a kid. That like you see someone with tattoos, it used to be that they were like maybe it's a bit rough or a bit more like ready for a scrap or whatever. Now it's just like everyone and their mum's got a tattoo. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's very different now.
And there's a misconception that if someone's got their face tattooed, it's because they've given up or they don't give a fuck about life. They've been to prison or
something like that. Yeah.
Or they're fuck the system or whatever. But it's not the case. Like some of the most gentle, humble people I know are like more covered than me. Yeah. Like it's just the two things aren't connected anymore.
Yeah, it's like when you used to see people in like metalheads or something, for example. Metalheads are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Do you know what I mean? There's a nightclub in Newcastle called Rise, and there used to be one called Alpha as well. And you'd meet like the quote unquote scariest looking people, right? Like, and then they're the nicest fucking people. They'll buy you drinks all night. You'll do shots with them, and they're like the nicest people you've ever met. And it's just like if you can just start to see that people like on the outward appearance is often deceiving.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely.
It's about digging a bit beneath. But the next part is you've mentioned that drugs and alcohol were a big part of your teenage years, especially. So what drew you into that world, and how dark did it actually get for you?
Man, even as a kid, I always knew that I was going to experiment with drugs. Like as soon as I found out that there were like things you could smoke or things that you could take to alter your state of consciousness, I knew. I used to do imaginary games where I pretended I was taking drugs, like Tic Tacs, and and I was getting high, and I was. Just,
I feel like we've all done that. Tic Tacs, pretend they're pain meds or something. Yeah.
And so then, I mean, I remember my first pint. It was in a pub in Torremolinos in Spain. And it wasn't the first time I drank, but it was the first time I drank with friends, intentionally to have a drink. And I loved it. I just loved that feeling. Why I loved it so much is probably not the best reasons. Like I really enjoyed not feeling anxious. I enjoyed not being lucid. Mm-hmm. So they're not the best reasons for starting, but once I discovered it, there was no stopping me. And then it was from that day on, it was like, let's drink every weekend. Quickly discovered smoking weed, so that became like a weekly thing. Yeah. And then for my 16th birthday, I organized with friends, like, let's try ecstasy for the first time. So I tried an ecstasy pill for my 16th birthday. And then that was like
happy birthday, Heywood.
A whole nother level. And I loved music. I loved clubbing. So then with the pills, it was just like, well, this is fucking heaven. And all of this, like, with the background of my life, was absolute chaos, right? It was like turbulent family stuff going on. I was socially anxious, so those drugs and the alcohol was just like, yeah, of course.
Is this the like 90s, or is this like 2000s?
2000s. Yeah, early 2000s. So yeah, I just really got into it, man. And so I was doing pills every weekend for a couple of years, and then, LSD, we tried a bit. Cocaine was fucking everywhere on the coast. Doing that. But I was always more apprehensive of cocaine because I'd heard more stories about how that drug's really bad. Anyway, so then that was it. Like, I just got into it that way.
So how many years did it sort of... Was it bad? Would you say it was a bad time, or would you say it was just kind of like a little bit out of control?
You know what I think? I think it was a bad... I mean, It's tricky, isn't it? Because I was having a good time, but it was bad.
Yeah.
Because I think what it did is it postponed any kind of self-growth. It postponed any chance of me looking at why I was struggling. Yeah. Right? Because that's what it was. I was struggling as a human being on a day-to-day level. And so I couldn't move forward because I was getting wrecked, and then I was hungover or had a come down or whatever. And then, the drugs were kind of on and off throughout my 20s. I kind of dropped the pills after a couple of years because I was getting so paranoid, really. Like, I've always said, like, I'm very sensitive to drugs. So then when I did too many pills for a couple of years, I was just knackered. But, like, alcohol and cocaine were a problem throughout my 20s. Yeah. And I tried, in my early 20s, I realized my hangovers were already lasting 2-3 days. Whereas my friends were bouncing back the next day. In your early 20s, usually you've got it in you to bounce back. It's like, God, why am I so bad?
I remember it well.
And I tried quitting alcohol throughout my 20s. But the problem was, if I didn't drink alcohol, then I didn't have the confidence to go out and socialize. And I was painfully dependent on socializing to give me self-validation. It was like a head fuck.
Yeah, but you mentioned something about you always kind of felt a little bit self-aware. So did that make things harder for you being in that, like, where you're aware of this loop that you're in, but you can't seem to get out of it?
Yeah, completely. It was like, it was maddening. It was maddening.
Because a lot of people don't know that they're in these cycles. They're just drinking because everyone else does, but you were obviously aware of the inner workings and why you were doing things.
Even when I was 14 smoking weed and drinking, I knew that it was a problem. When I was 16 doing pills and cocaine, like, I knew this is a problem. And my whole 20s with that, like, drinking cycle and being hungover, like, I knew this had to stop, but I wasn't strong enough to do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't have it in me to stop. And it wasn't up until I was 32 in Barcelona. And, like, just to give, like, a bit of context, like, I'd lost multiple jobs because of alcohol. Inadvertently, I'd fucked up loads of relationships, friendships. And I really enjoyed my job at 32, and I couldn't go to work because I was hungover. And it was just like, after over a decade of trying to get out of the loop, I just sat on my bed and I was like, I started having, like, suicidal ideation. I was like, maybe that would be easier than this absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And then when I had that thought, I was like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
And then I got sober. Because that one thought, I knew what that would lead to. It would turn into an obsession of suicidal ideation. And then, there's a choice at some point.
Yeah.
So at that point, I quit alcohol, and then I got sober.
So that was that the sort of rock bottom moment that persuaded
That was my rock. That was my second rock bottom.
Did you go teetotal, or did you?
I went teetotal.
Yeah.
Already at that point, I was only drinking. I wasn't really. No, I was doing drugs as well. I mean, if someone offered me a line of coke when I was drunk, I'd take it.
Yeah.
But it was always alcohol that was the deep problem. And then I went teetotal, like 100%, because I'd done sobriety for a month before, maybe even 2 months. But then I'd fall off. Yeah. I tried doing a drink and then a water, a drink and then a water, or I had to go teetotal to do it properly.
Yeah, I think sometimes teetotal is better for most things.
Yeah,
I think
changed my mind.
I think it depends if you're on, like, a medication. Maybe going teetotal from something is a bad way to do it. But obviously I'm not a doctor. But I think the self-awareness thing, everyone likes to think they're self-aware. Everyone's like, oh well, I know I could, and it's like, do you? Because most people are addicted to mediocrity. They're addicted to comfort, and they're not willing to actually look at what's actually driving them. Because most people, if we're honest, are driven by biological drives and need to just be that identity that they've attached to. Because most people are just like, oh well, it's not me. My friends don't do it, so it's just not me. It's like anything can be you. Like, to a degree, you are wired a certain way and you have a personality. That's fair. But, like, when I hear people like, well, I love a party, it's not me to stay in. It's like, well, do you actually love to party, or are you just addicted to the chaos?
Yeah.
It's like, really sit down and break down the whys, and you'll find that most people are just running on drives and not actually question any of their own inhibitions.
Definitely. I mean, I've got a lot of friends where I had these conversations where they were doing cocaine every weekend, and they were like, oh, I could stop if I wanted. Or, oh, I never pay for it. And I'm like, those are not two valid reasons to carry on doing cocaine.
Yeah. It's like, just because someone's giving you free drinks and free
like
booze.
5 years down the line and you're still doing cocaine every weekend, or like maybe just a little bit left on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but you didn't pay for it, doesn't mean you don't have a problem.
Yeah, it's like, I enjoyed going out. I mean, I've never touched drugs, but I used to drink, like, most weekends. I used to go 4 nights a week, etc. And it's like, now that I'm 30 next year, and I'm just like, I can't imagine doing that every weekend now. It gets to like 8:30 on a Saturday, and I am like ready for pajamas and pipe and slippers. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's me now. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't look at people who are, I don't know, I think maybe it's a judgment, but I just look at people who are like maybe 30, 32 or whatever, and if their only goal is to get fucked up on weekends, I'm like, there's something missing in your life. There's something has not quite flipped for you to move past that yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and I don't put judgment either. I think like a lot of people are struggling to find more in life, right? Mm-hmm. Because getting drunk on the weekends can be fun, but it's not, you're not creating anything. It's not productive. It doesn't feel great the next day. And like most people are binge drinking, or if it's not most people, those that are binge drinking, they're not remembering the night anyway.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think it's everybody's own journey to kind of figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
And everyone's going through different struggles as well. Like I always would have been the first to say like, yeah, I've got a problem. I just didn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's sometimes the journey's on your own, but sometimes you need the support.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any support. Like I wish I did. I think I would have been able to knock it on the head earlier if I did.
Yeah, I mean, I was really grateful. I mean, I was very socially anxious growing up, and I think like you, the alcohol helps you blend in. It helps you feel, you know, you go straight to the bar when you go into the club, and then you can talk to people, you can talk to girls, and it gives you that inner confidence. And I remember there was a period where I was like, this isn't actually growing my confidence. This is just making me think that I have to have 6, you know, fire buckets that were called before I can talk to somebody new. So I started challenging myself to go out completely sober.
Nice.
And it was fucking tough because the environment really overwhelms you. You don't realize it when you're drunk how, like, when you're sober, you hear how loud the music is.
Drunk people are a lot.
Drunk people piss you off the more sober you are. It's like the gap between how you can relate to them when you're sober is just massive.
No, and they repeat themselves, right? Like, you don't realize how much people repeat themselves when they're drunk.
You don't realize how much people spit in your ear as well when they're trying to tell you some bullshit, and you're like, when
you're drunk yourself, you're spitting right back. Like you're a pair of people.
I would like to apologize to everyone's ear that I've ever spat in while drunk, but like it was the one thing that got me was feeling like I couldn't speak to someone. That was the hardest part. It's like, well, if I'm not drunk, I'm gonna run out of things to say, or what I have to say is not valuable. And two of the biggest lessons I ever learned was it's valuable just because it comes from you. So it sounds a bit arrogant, but it's that internal confidence. What you have to say has value purely because it comes from you, and you don't need to silence yourself. The other thing I learned from a guy called Alex, and his concept was the NRYNE concept, which means no reason you're not enough. And you would try and argue with him, and he would just come back with that. So you would try and come up with a reason why you're not enough, and he would just say, "There's no reason you're not enough, mate." You know, and you'd be like, well, I am this and I'm this and I don't have this. He's like, no reason you're not enough. And he would just cement that in you to the point where I would be out and about. Maybe I wanted to talk to someone, didn't feel confident. And that phrase, the NRYNE, would pop into my head and I'd be like, oh, okay. And it would just it was just a nice little phrase to just get me going socially. And I've remembered that ever since. Yeah. And I think it really helped me, obviously, when I became a podcaster and stuff. And it's like, am I good enough to be a podcaster? No reason you're not enough. And you can bullshit your way through it, but no reason you're not enough.
Without sounding like a hippie, it's like another presentation of unconditional love. That is like it really is.
It's just being kind to yourself.
And I think that's a problem that a lot of us have growing up, is that we don't, not on purpose or whatever, but we're not being given unconditional love growing up. You know, love is always conditional. It's like, if you don't do this, then this will happen.
Yes.
And like, you'll get in trouble if you don't do this. And then you grow up as an adult thinking like, I have to be this way in order for people to, you know, accept me. Yeah. And like that saying is the same thing. It's like, there is no reason why you're not, like, what was it again?
No reason you're not enough. NRYNE. And I love it. The guy was called, actually, do you know, I don't think I have a surname. He just went by Alex James, but there you go. But, so you get your shit together.
Yeah, got my shit together.
And you have a little baby girl.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what has fatherhood taught you that maybe all the stuff that you've been through in the past didn't?
Well, thank fuck. I got sober, right? And then 6 months into my sobriety, I met my partner, Briggy. And then we both kind of met each other at very similar parts of our life, where we're both on this journey of self-discovery and growth and becoming more and more aware of all the baggage that we're bringing to the table.
How did you guys meet?
Her cousin lived in the apartment above me, and her cousin was over in Miami, and Briggy had just come out of a messy relationship in Holland and was leaving the country and needed somewhere to stay. But because her cousin was away, she asked if she could stay at mine for the weekend until she comes back. And so she quite literally walked into my apartment. It was like she arrived at midnight with all her bags and her big jacket, and like she just came to my living room, and then that was it. And because I was on this like celibate sober thing, so I wasn't looking to, you know, chase any women or do anything like that. She had just come out of a messy relationship, so that was like well out of her scope of anything. So it was really nice. We were just talking. And we just clicked. Like, we were talking for hours and hours and hours for the whole weekend, really. And then at the end of the weekend, she went upstairs to her cousins, and I sat down on the couch. I was like, what was that? Like, that wasn't just a normal interaction sort of thing. And I was like, fuck celibacy. I'm
going upstairs.
I'm going to pursue her. And I did. And then quite quickly, we got involved. And then within 6 months, we'd moved country, and she was preggers, and we were going to start a little family. Wow. All intentional. Everyone's like, oh, was it like an accident? I was like, no, we intended for it.
Wow, nice.
Which is bizarre, because I was always the person that was like, oh, you got to be in a relationship for years before you even think about having kids. But we just knew it was right. Anyway, so then Bella comes along. I'm like two years sober or something like that. And then like your whole life changes, man. It was like, I don't know. I was already on the right path, but then that's kind of, I don't know, man. It just changed my life again. Like, it made me want to be better even more. It like solidified that whatever I was doing, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
But then having a child, it changes your dynamic in your relationship completely. Yeah. Like, whereas before it's the two of you, and I got 50% of the attention. Now there's a little baby, and I'm not getting that attention. Yeah. And my job role, if you like, is now to look after the mother of my child, because the mother and the baby relationship is so close.
Yeah. How did taking on that responsibility feel?
It was amazing. It was really amazing. Like, I was that guy that was showing strangers like pictures of my baby.
Like, you're on the bus just like, look at my child.
And I'm like, I'm not sure if you're aware, but like, if you look at 100 babies, man, they don't all look that different. They're all and I'm like, this is the most beautiful baby you've ever seen. And they're like,
no, mine is different. Look.
Yeah, and I can see it in their eyes what they're thinking. And I don't care, because I am so doped up on the love of this blob of meat. Like, love my baby.
I made this.
It was the best thing in the world, man. And like, really, like, I tapped into my emotions big time. Like, every first word, her opening her eyes, her start dancing, everything that she did was just like this huge moment. It was the best experience of my life, and still is now when she's 6 years old. Like, she wows me every day. Yeah, it's hard to put into words, really.
Nice, man. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I do want to have children at some point. I am terrified to be a dad. I don't want to. I don't want to fuck it up. And I do think that sometimes, like, you see people that have like they're not like, you'd never expect them to be a parent, and then all of a sudden they just pull it off. I'm hoping that's me. Like, I'm hoping I just pulled it off. But is there anything that in your past, because obviously you've had sort of like, you obviously lived abroad, and then you come back here, you had this drinking drugs and things. Sorry, is there anything in your past that you're trying to guide? Has it affected the way you're trying to guide Bella as a parent?
Yeah. I mean, when Briggy was pregnant with Bella, we had long conversations about parenting and how we would parent. And me and Briggy have got very similar upbringings as children. Like, you know, our parents were doing the best that they could, but it was very much a case of, I mean, it sounds bad, and for a child it is. It's like absent fathers for whatever reasons, and very like authoritarian styled mothers, and really emotionally absent. Yeah. Which me and Briggy, we came to realize that that's had like a huge impact on how we are as adults, and we carry that. And so we knew raising Bella, we wanted to be present, not just emotionally, but like physically present. Like, I knew that my priority would always be her, and work would be second. It's what made us decide to homeschool, because we believe that she will have a better experience growing up with her parents rather than growing up in the school system. I'm not shitting on the school system, but that was just our view on it. Yeah. No, I didn't know you did that, actually. Yeah. We take a very like child-led approach to things. So we'll there's loads of classes that kids can do, right? And we'll give her the options. We're like, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And if there's something that she wants to do, she can try it. If she likes it, she can carry on. And if for whatever reason one day she doesn't like it, she can stop. With the belief and like hope that she will choose what she wants to do. Yeah. And build confidence doing it, because they're her choices to make. So one really little example of how we parent Bella, right? And it's conflicting for a lot of other parents. When you've got like 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds and one kid's got a toy and the other kid wants to play with the toy, you'll see a lot of parents going, "Oh, come on, Timmy, you've got to share your toy with Sandra," right?
Okay, yeah.
And it's like, if my mate is on his phone and my other mate is looking, I wouldn't go like, "Adam, mate, give your phone to." It's nice to share. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And we believe that these children are the same. And so obviously sharing is caring, right? But it's not by us telling her to share. It's by us modeling that. So if I'm with a friend and I've got like a packet of crisps, I'll offer a crisp to my mate. She sees that. She sees the reaction. It's a nice, healthy interaction. And then she will share. Yeah. And on a day when she doesn't want to share her fucking crisps, she won't. And then she'll feel that's okay, that you don't. So long story short, when she becomes a teenager, when a boy or a girl is going up to her and like, "Oh, go on, let me," and she doesn't want to, she's not going to go, "Oh, well, sharing is caring."
Yeah.
And then, do whatever they want. Yeah. She'll know that her no means no because she doesn't want to. And when she does want to, then she'll let it happen.
Yeah.
And she'll also appreciate the other person's no.
Because it kind of reinforces the idea that like you're not allowed to want what you want if someone else is kind of there in a way. It's weird, isn't it? Like, even though like when you're a kid it's like the head of a Barbie doll with like one eye missing and it's like you're obsessed with this and some kid wants to play. No, fine. I mean, no, I like Absolutely. That. How are you handling because obviously I think the biggest thing because I don't know much about homeschooling, but I know loads of people are like deciding to do that now. How are you handling the social aspect? Because obviously that's one of the big aspects of school.
That is the first question I always get when I talk to like parents in the playground or any of our classes. How does she socialize? And then I always, depending how much time I've got, like I tell her like she's one of the most sociable kids that there are. Not just with kids, but with adults. She's very confident. She does a lot of classes outside of the home. Mm-hmm. So she does interact with other kids.
Right.
Also, because we've let her lead at her own pace, so we've never like pushed her to go in the playground, for example. She would sometimes just stare at kids and like watch them interact. We would never push her to go play. She always did it at her own pace, which over the years she's built up the confidence to do it because she did it at her time. Okay. So the spinny things in the playground where might have been a while since you've been in the playground.
You know what? I was actually at one like a few months ago. Yeah, I was in Scotland and I was like the biggest. Like me and my brother were on this swing thing and seesaws and shit. Yeah. Like just fuck the little kids, they can go away.
So like one of the most fun things in the playground is the spinny thing where you can get like 4 or 5 kids and they're all spinning around. Yeah. And she'd be like, "Oh, Papa, I want to go on there." And there's like 3-4 kids, and I'm like, "We'll go on there then." And then she's like, "Do you think I can?" I'm like, "If you want to, you should." And then like she's apprehensive, but then she does it. And she goes up to the kids and she's like, "Can I come play?" And then she jumps on, she does it, she feels great. Then the second time, she just does it. Now, if that first time I was like, "Just go on," like pushing her, she'd be like, that kind of being pushed to do something when you're not ready can create resistance and cause all this like other shit.
It's interesting that because that's a hard line to draw because at some point it's like you have
to trust the process.
Yeah. Is there anything that you do? So it's not pushing. Do you ever encourage? I would say like obviously you're encouraging her to make her own choices. Is there anything that you sort of like this would be good for you? Like no, encouraging.
I really don't. I trust the process, and I've seen the process because so a big one with parents is reading and writing. Mm-hmm. There's all these markers in schools of at this age they should be able to read, at this age they should be able to write. It's bullshit. Kids are all developing at different rates. There's absolutely no reason why a 5-year-old needs to read. It doesn't make sense. Some 5-year-olds can, and they would naturally be curious to do that in their own way. Mm-hmm. So you get fucking genius prodigies that are reading at 4 playing chess. And then you get some kids that don't, like I couldn't read until I was about 9. And then when I really could. It just all kind of slotted into place. But all that pressure of having to do it is what makes the whole thing a lot more difficult. Like kids are naturally curious. They want to learn. It's in their DNA. So in terms of like encouragement, I just keep making these things available to her. And like there's a couple of websites that we do, there's like maths and spelling and stuff like that. And I'll go through it all. And she's like, "I don't want to do that one. I don't want to do that one." And then one day she wanted to do the 2 + 5, the 6 + 2. And she'd be like, "How do you do that?" And then I'd tell her, she'd play the game. And now she knows how to add and minus. And it's like, it just came organically. And there's no like icky feelings about studying. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking hated homework.
Does she, with the homeschooling, does she have to do like GCSEs and stuff like that? Like, how does that work when it comes to
in
that?
England, there's no set curriculum that any kid has to take.
Okay.
There's no... England's very chill with the home education thing, comparatively to other European countries. But to put it in perspective, right? If she becomes 14 years old, well, you do GCSEs at 16 usually, right?
Yeah.
By the time she's 14, I've got no doubts that she'll be able to read, write, and she'll be literate, right?
Yeah.
I just don't, I don't question it. If she then turns to me and goes, she's done some science class, I want to do physics, a physicist. That's way out of my scope. I haven't got a fucking clue. If she wants to do physics GCSE because she wants to do A-level, because she wants to do whatever job needs a fucking degree in physics.
Yeah.
We could get her a tutor at 14. She would learn enough physics to do the GCSE at 15, for example, because she's not filled days with 8 hours of other classes that she doesn't want to concentrate on.
Okay, yeah.
She could then do the GCSEs at 15, and then suddenly she's a year ahead, which blows people's minds. It's like, but she hasn't been to school. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but that's because she just did the physics.
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting. I mean, I have a friend who studied psychology, and for the most part, me and him have some really interesting discussions. I didn't do psychology in any degree in school, or I never went to uni or anything like that. I did IT in college, for fuck's sake. But me and him have some intellectual conversations, and we're pretty much evenly matched. And he did like a degree in it, and it's like you can teach yourself things. The only problem is when it becomes like trying to be a self-taught doctor or something like that. That's when it probably becomes an issue. You know,
any job role where you need to have, that
skill, yeah.
That absolute piece of paper that proves, because there's a credible need for it.
Yeah.
But home educated kids can still get them.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to a school to get GCSEs and A-levels, basically.
Yeah, nice. You're the invigilator coming around like with the pens and
I think they actually have to go to the schools to do the exams.
Yeah, I think
physically.
So. Yeah. It'd be funny if you're just like, that's the answer.
Yeah, right.
That's the answer. I remember we read this. Yeah. But anxiety is a word that's sort of thrown around a lot. And everyone in their mates seems to mention feeling anxious more often than not. Like, anxiety is just a word that's thrown around. You see it on TikTok all the time. You see it on Instagram. And you've talked openly about anxiety, panic attacks. And you mentioned to me the time you turned away from uni because of panic attack. Yeah. So, like, what does living with anxiety feel like on a daily basis? Because I've felt anxious. I've dealt with anxious thoughts, but not anxiety. And I think people, they don't understand the difference between the two.
Yeah. I want to make one point. I think it does get thrown around a lot. I do also think that there is more anxiety in people now more than ever.
I would agree.
So I think it is on the up, and I think because it's become safer to talk about it, we're hearing everybody talking about it. And I think there's more good than bad that comes from it. For me, living with anxiety, it was a fucking day-to-day struggle. And like, it was just like all-encompassing. Like it overtook every interaction, every thought.
Yeah.
It really took a toll on my self-confidence. So those two are kind of like interlinked. I mean, that moment when I was walking to university, I got halfway there and then my anxiety just bubbled up so much that I had to turn around and walk home. I can't even really explain what was going on. It was like I was anxious about people staring at my birthmark, that's for sure. But that was almost just a trigger to then fall into this like
spiral,
and a false, like, your fight or flight response kicks in, and in that moment you really feel and believe that you're at risk of danger, and like you can intellectualize it and go, but you're not, but you feel like you are, and that's where the disconnect is, right? And it's because you're not grounded in your body. It's because you're not like you're just not grounded in your body. It's like a rewiring issue or a neurological issue or whatever it is. And it's just fucking hard to kind of change that. And that just took years of personal development and self-awareness. And I mean, I would love to say it was meditation and yoga, but it wasn't any of that. It was just becoming aware of it more than anything.
Yeah.
And like looking into it, just really looking into it. Also, like, I got medicated for my ADHD and that really helped. Yeah. Like I take a medication which it helps for anxiety.
Are anxiety and ADHD more closely linked? Is that you more? Is it like you're more likely to have?
I think if you've got ADHD, the majority of people with ADHD at some point will get anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's we're so misunderstood as a person
Mm-hmm.
that I was constantly being told by adults and parents and other people, like, you're this, you're that. And that mislabeling kind of jolts you from who you are. And that can cause anxiety, because then you're like, you self-question yourself.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're not sure who you fucking are.
Mm.
On top of already having the ADHD, which makes things difficult to navigate anyway.
Yeah, I like the term that you use, grounding, like grounding yourself.
Yeah,
like,
I think a lot of it is.
It sounds cheesy, doesn't it? With like, you need to ground yourself and breathe and stuff, but it fucking works. Like, for me, like I said, I don't have anxiety. I get anxious about stuff. I'm anxious before a podcast.
Yeah,
and it's like I deal with that a lot. I deal with thoughts where I'm like I panic a little bit, and I'm like, oh my god, what have I taken on or whatever. But like for me, like, because it's not a daily, it doesn't hold me back on a daily basis. It comes and it goes, right? So for me, it's all, what helps me is I sit down and I go like, what have I achieved thus far? What have I managed to accomplish in spite of these feelings before? And that for me grounds me in the reality of like, life very rarely lives up to these anxieties that I have. Like, definitely. For the most part, the worst case scenario never fucking happens. But for someone who actually lives with anxiety on a daily basis, I can imagine that's quite a hard thought to just sort of implant, where it's like, life rarely lives up to our anxieties, you know? It must be very hard to implant that.
It is, and because so much of it is, it's not just psychological, there's a neurological element as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of, like, if your baseline of dopamine is a little bit low, like, one of the side effects of that is anxiety. Mm-hmm. And that you could have the best upbringing of your life, eat really well, and you still get a little bit of anxiety. Yeah. And that's just down to like your chemical imbalances. And that's a fucker, right? Because you can do all the meditation you want, but there's still a struggle there. Yeah. But like having like healthy thought patterns and being able to catch when you're in a bit of a spiraling negative like funnel definitely helps. Mm-hmm. Like I still have it to this day where, say something goes wrong at work, if I'm not careful, that can quickly turn into self-negative talk. And if I'm not careful, that can last another day, longer than it needed to. Yeah. And then I'll find myself 3 days later feeling shit, eating shit, you know, and going, oh God, I'm on this spiral. Like, I need to snap out of it. Mm-hmm. But it's taken years to kind of develop those, like, that awareness of it.
Yeah. Here's a question for you,
and I feel lucky that I can still do that. Some people can't. Yeah. Some people just can't do it.
Yeah, I can imagine. But here's a controversial question. Do you think that because we have access to talking about like ADHD, anxiety, depression, do you think because there's more talk about this, people almost want that to be the answer for their problems so they don't have to do any more deeper work?
Yeah, if you'd asked me a few years ago, I would have got really triggered by that. And I would have been like, oh no, it's not that, you know, we need to talk. But I think there's some truth in it. Like, if I'm constantly focusing on how anxious I am all the time, I'm going to stay anxious. Yeah. Right? And sometimes, you know, like the phrase fake it till you make it, it kind of holds some truth in it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You know, if you can, you know, like gratitude journals where, you know, you wake up in the morning, you write 10 things that you're grateful for. Even if you don't believe it, what you're writing, just the act of saying or writing what you feel grateful for, then like almost by magic, a little spark of actual gratitude comes in, and then that can be the catalyst for like flipping the narrative. So like definitely, like if we're all focusing so much on the shit that we're going through, it doesn't help if it's not like coupled with coping strategies and a way out. I think it's important to talk about it, but only to a point of like, okay, so what we're going to do from here.
Yeah, I think too many people focus on how they feel, not how they want to feel. And I think that's what trips most people up, is like they're so focused on, well, I feel anxious, I feel depressed, I feel sad, I feel miserable, I feel this. So, well, how do you want to feel? Yeah. I mean, it's like, change the script in your head. How do you want to feel? And it's like, okay, then how do you get to feel that way? It's like, that will, you know, it's like one step in front of the other kind of thing.
And to add to that, I think it's important to mention that some people, they're so depressed or so anxious that they don't have that tool yet. Yes. They don't have that ability yet to even look ahead. And sometimes that's like, you know, deep psychological stuff, and sometimes it's chemical, man. Like like, so I've talked to this one guy who multiple times tried, you know, unaliving himself. That's how people say it now.
Yeah, you've got to say that apparently, yeah.
And I was like a little bit naive back then, but I was trying to tell him like, oh, but just think this way or think that way, and he's like, he hasn't got that. That's not available to him, which is really sad.
Yeah, it's like I always imagine it's not the same thing, but it's similar neurological. This helps people understand it. So like psychopaths, for example, right? It's like people will think that someone who has the ability to murder someone has like shut off empathy in their brain. It's like, no, they just don't have that pathway.
Yeah.
Like, because, well, if you want to go evolution wise, it's because they needed someone who could go kill other people in another tribe, come back and not have fucking nightmares about it. It's like, that's why it exists, right? But it's like for for you to tell them just think this way, they might not have that pathway available to them yet. Do you know what I mean? It's a similar sort of neurological thing. It's like they just it's not that they can't, it's just like it's just not there.
And on top of that, I will say like the best medicine for a lot of these mental health issues is always going to be, and it's boring as fuck, but it's exercise and healthy food.
Yeah.
It just is. Like,
we've got it written on the wall downstairs.
That always needs to be like the first go-to. But from someone that was like, I was really depressed at 26, like the classic clinical depression. And I got given antidepressants and I was on the bed, and I was anti-medication at that point. Like I really believed that if I took antidepressants, it would kill me or some shit. And I went to the gym the next day, and it was really hard. And then like after about doing it from a year, my social anxiety kind of went away. The depression was gone. And I kind of got out of it. Like fast track to when I was much older and I got depression again, I didn't have it in me to go to the gym. So it's like there's so much nuance and like different things.
But you've got to try something to a degree. Like there has to be a level
if
of it.
If anyone's struggling with mental health, if you can find any way to like go healthy eating and go to the gym, if that's available to you in any capacity, fucking try. But it's not always available.
Yeah, people really underestimate state, like changing their state. It's like if you are miserable, go put. This is so stupid. I was feeling a bit shit in the car the other day. I was like driving home from here. I think it was just a rainy day or whatever, and I was like, I've got to go to the gym. Like I just want to go home and go to bed, right? And I pressed shuffle on Spotify, and ABBA came on, and I was like, I turned it up. I fucking sang Dancing Queen at the top of my lungs, right? On the way. And you know what happened after that 3.5 minute song? Felt fucking mint. I was like, I'm going to go smash this gym workout. Just that state change straight away. Like, but it was like the movement in the car and everything. It was like just state change.
Yeah, music is a gift, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Music is a gift.
But people don't think that it's like, oh, well, I just feel this way, so that's all I can do. It's like, no, you can change it somehow. It's not always easy. It's not simple.
And I think some people, they've struggled for so long. Imagine 20 years of being anxious and depressed. You get so wrapped up into that being your identity that you genuinely believe that is it.
Yeah.
That there is no other way out.
Yeah.
And it's hard, man. It's just hard.
Well, I was always told in school, like, I didn't put my hand up. I didn't speak in class. Like, if you told one of my old teachers that he now has a podcast and he's been on YouTube for 8 years, they'd be like, what the fuck happened to him? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't change it. And it is that identity. It's linking yourself to that identity. It's like, it's when people say, like, it's my depression or my anxiety. If you identify it as yours, you're not going to want to get rid of it. Because if it's yours, you want to keep a hold of it. But if it's the anxiety or the depression or something like that, it changes the language is very important there. Yeah. Just like a little subtle tweak, I think. But on your show, when you spoke about ADHD as something that you've kind of only in recent years come to sort of understand a bit more. What changed and when did it suddenly kind of make a bit more sense for you?
Getting sober really helped. I mean, I knew I was ADHD from when I was 6, but then.
Did you know what it was, or did you just know there was something a little bit different?
It was just another label that I was being given.
Also, so other people, they
got diagnosed at 6.
Okay, right.
And then nothing really came of it. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s again that I started looking at it. But my main problem was always the alcohol, right? So I'd never really looked at the ADHD that much, but knew that it was a problem. And then when I got sober, it was apparent to me that my ADHD was having a huge impact on my day-to-day life. So like at work, if I'm doing like mundane stuff, man, I used to sit in front of the computer editing something, and then all of a sudden I had zero motivation to do it, and it was like a brick wall, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was sober, I was like capable, I was feeling pretty good about myself, so it wasn't my mental state anymore. And I was like, why is this happening? Like, I can't do it. And then, and then there was the fear that I was going to lose my job because I can't actually do it. And then I realized, like, I started looking into the ADHD thing more, and I was like, this is the problem.
This makes sense, yeah.
And it doesn't, at the time, I was like, there's nothing that I can do to get through this. I need to get medicated. I need a fucking fighting chance, really. And that's partly why we moved back to England. It was so that I could get re-diagnosed and start my medication journey. And then once I got medicated, then I really saw, like, how much my ADHD was affecting everything that I was doing. It was like my emotional deregulation. Like I'd go from like 0 to 100, like angry like that, because I had no emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Or like I'd get upset like so quickly, and then I'd feel like flat, and it was all over the place.
Yeah.
And like my motivation to do things, I'd be so motivated, like the 50,000th project that year, and then as soon as one thing goes wrong, I was like, oh, it's ruined. There's no point. And then you get accustomed to it, and you think, oh, this is just the rest of my life now.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of unfinished projects that was going to change your life.
Yeah.
And now I can't be fucked. And then the medication kind of just like, booped, it like kind of put my brain chemicals in place. And suddenly I could just do things. I was like, is this what it's like to be neurotypical? Like, you lucky bastards. Like, you just finish things because you're getting enough dopamine from finishing the act that you can finish it. Where it's like, why would I finish it? This is horrible. It's like, I don't know. And then, like, the more I looked into it, the more I realized how complex ADHD brains are, and not everybody's is the same. And
I do think, though, that, TikTok has ruined people when it comes to ADHD, and I don't think there's anyone out there that could disagree with that. I think people, they see people who are, like, talking to the camera, and they're like, I can't focus, and I can't get this done. I must have ADHD. And it's like, there's a bit more to it than that.
Yeah.
And I think people want it to be a reason why they don't do stuff. Linking back again to what I mentioned, I think people want to use that as an excuse, which devalidates the people who actually struggle with it.
Yeah. I think I think anyone who thinks that they have ADHD, it doesn't matter, because you need to be informed for yourself anyway. And so if there's culturally this whole idea like, oh yeah, but everyone's a little bit ADHD, or like, oh, just because you can't concentrate doesn't mean
they say that about autism. They're like, well, everyone's a little bit autistic. It's like,
I mean, all of that stuff for me is just fluff. That's stuff that comes along with social media. What's really important is that the person who's struggling with ADHD or autism or anything, do the research, find the credible information, and take it from there. Like, medication isn't the only way that people with ADHD can increase their quality of life, right? Like, there's loads of ways. Exercise, food, like mental, fucking all the healthy mental stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
Meditation is a huge one, which is ironic, really, because if you're ADHD, meditation's really tricky.
Well, people get meditation wrong, man.
They
people think they have to sit there. I remember I had a friend years ago, and I really wanted to come to a meditation class, and he was like, I can't do it. And I was like, what do you mean you can't do it? And he was like, well, I can't stop my brain from thinking. I'm like, well, you don't that's not what meditation is. Yeah. You don't stop thinking and go blank, because that's impossible. Yeah. You what you do is you just breathe, you calm the brain. You don't stop thinking, you just calm the brain. And like, when thoughts come up, I always said it was like I can't remember where I learned this. It might be like Eckhart Tolle or something. And he was like, you get thoughts come along, imagine it like a washing line with all these little Polaroid pictures of the thoughts. And he's like, most people just go boop, 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 pull them all off. Yeah. He's like, just watch it go past.
Exactly.
Just observe that you're thinking these things. It's a bit of a mental concept for someone that's not used to it. But that's what really helped me. I was like, I don't have to follow every train of thought. Yeah. And I can just observe it a little bit. And it's but that's the thing. Meditation is a practice. It's not something you just get right every time. It's a practice.
It is, and it's also like what you say. It's that's what some people call as an awakening or becoming self-aware, right? And you can call it like hippy dippy or spiritual, or whatever. But when you realize that you are not your thoughts, that gives you a whole load of space all of a sudden to be able to just watch your thoughts do their thing and be like, oh, not intrinsically connect. Like, I am not that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something that's going on. You become the observer of your thoughts, and that's freeing. And sometimes you kind of dip back in and you become immersed in it and you lose yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's the gift of meditation, is that it always brings you back to that point. It's like intentionally being aware rather than just free falling into your thoughts.
But it's also getting rid of your phone as well. It's a big one as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fucking social media, like just the nature of it, you lose yourself, right? You lose intentionality completely.
But what gets me is, it's like, if you struggle to focus on work, like I went through a period not long ago, and I spoke about this on the podcast before. I went through a period where I was getting like fuck all work done, and I was like, I can't focus on this. I've got no motivation to do this. It's not fulfilling me. And then I was like, I just happened to look at my screen time one day, and it was like 8 hours of screen time. I was that's fucking wild. Yeah. So then I was like, what happens if I turn my phone off and stop going for like these quick little hits of feeling good? Because people forget that's what it is. It's quick little hits of dopamine to make you feel good. And then if you put that away, you can reset your dopamine. So you can be like, well, actually, now this task, I want to do this. Yeah. Because that's where I'm going to get the dopamine, not this little scrolly scrolls. Scrolly. It's like, I actually get a project done because it's resetting dopamine, basically.
And it's completely linked. So I've got this app where there's like a bunch of different timers on it. And so one is like not eating crap. One is like not looking at porn. One is... what are the other ones that I can share without a bit too like self-incriminating? There's a bunch. There's one for like self-negative talk.
Yeah.
And it shows you like the calendar of how well you're doing. And then like on some days I've broken it and all of them break. And then the next day all of them break. And then it's like I'm just breaking all of them. And then I like at the end of those few days of breaking it, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it is completely linked. But if I've got like 2 weeks of none of that, I feel great. And I still go into the shop and I'm looking at that cake and I'm like, I want that cake. But I know if I get that cake in half an hour, I'm going to be sat on the couch watching porn, eating cake. And it's like, this is
more cake and porn. Cake and porn sounds like a great Saturday.
Yeah. And then after the cake and porn, I'm going to have like 6 hours of feeling shit.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, no amount of cake and porn is going to make me feel
post-nut cake clarity, that's what that is.
Yeah. Well, that post-nut clarity is real, right?
It's people forget that. But porn, it isn't my questions, but porn's a big one. And I haven't watched porn for years, and I've been open, but I've wrote posts about that for years.
Have you really? Is that true?
Yeah, swear down.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're 29?
29,
That's fucking brilliant.
But it was do you know what it was? It was purely because I was like...
I almost don't believe you.
It was just... I'll show you my browsing history. But it was just like... It was just fucking with me, and I knew, and I'd read books and stuff like that, and that was the thing though, because when I hear something, I have to know more about it, and when I knew about it, and I was like, this is going to damage me long term, because I had no drive to meet anyone. I had no and when I started looking into like, even if you meet someone, the chances of A, your dick not working, and B, just like other things that you're not attracted to, like most relationships, if you think like if you've been in a partnership for a long time and the guy's watching porn, he's looking at his brain can't differentiate between his partner and the girl he sees on the screen. So if you think he's watching some woman on the screen who's got massive fake boobs, the perfect body, quote unquote, right? And then he's going back to his missus that he's been with for 10 years or whatever, his brain's gonna go, you did better the other day. You know, because it can't differentiate between the two. So he's going to be like, I'm not in the mood tonight, honey, or whatever kind of thing. Because his brain's like, well, this girl on the screen was 10 times hotter than my wife, you know? Yeah. And that can really fuck with you. And people don't understand that. And they wonder why, like, there's a epidemic of young men who are socially awkward with women because they're watching porn.
Yeah, and also porn kind of, it makes a lot of men, believe that that's what sex is actually about, and men are generally a little bit detached from being emotionally in tune anyway. We spend a lot more time in our heads than our heart, if you like, whereas women are often a lot more emotionally mature. And then if you're watching porn, which is geared for like just physical high dopamine blah blah, and then you come to having sex, you're not going to be in tune with the woman that you're having sex with.
There's a disconnect,
because a lot of women come from an emotional place and need to be emotionally present to enjoy sex, and then the man's just like physical. Yeah. And there's your detachment already. You fucked it from the get-go. And that's not saying all women are like that or that all men are like that when they watch porn, but like generally that's the huge disconnect happens.
It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine not long ago, and she was talking about a guy that she'd been with for a few months, and she was like, he like just did some weird shit in the bedroom, and I was like, what do you mean weird shit? You gotta ask
before you do it.
I was like, what weird shit? Well, I think obviously she was like open to it, you know. Yeah. But I was just like, what weird shit? And she's like, I'll draw it for you. So it's like a black screen with like this shitty drawing. I'm like, what fucking position is that supposed to be? And I was like, where do you even find? I've never even heard that.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, you watch a lot of porn? And I'm like, was that nice for you? And she was like, I didn't mind it, but it was just more for him. I'm like, that does not look comfortable. That's just not anatomically correct. And I was like, that is a example of porn just messing with men's minds.
It is, and I mean, I never got as deep as like what I'm about to say, but there's a old friend I know who got really addicted to porn, and then it's like he would just watch like normal porn, and then it had to be a bit more intense, and then it had to be a little bit weird, and then he was just watching porn that he didn't even really like, but he needed to watch it to get off. And it's like if you're watching that kind of weird, like really far out kinky shit, not even kink, like just minging,
it's like
and
straight up messed
and then
up,
it comes to like, you know, your partner or whatever person you're with, like, I don't know,
he's just kicking the door in, straight up tying her up, punching her.
Yeah,
it's just like, whoa,
like you know, get the goats and shit. Like you're just making it, you're ruining it. You're ruining it for
bringing
yourself.
in the animals and shit. But that's what it is. It's like
yourself.
it can go from one extreme to the next. It's like. I mean, weed's not a great example, but like, say you start doing cocaine, then you need more cocaine. Then you try more drugs. It's like, it's why I remember there's like celebrities when you think, why do they go off the rails? They've got everything. It's like, yeah, it's because they've got everything that they go off the rails, because what's the next thing?
Well, they haven't got everything. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, they've hit a point where they've got money, fame, they could buy whatever they want. It's like, well, we're always what's next. Well, they're missing that stuff. It's like, I mean, not every celebrity goes off the rails, but there's a lot of them that do, because they get what I can't remember the Carla, you might know the answer to this. I think the quote is like, there's two biggest tragedies in everyone's life is getting what you want and not getting what you want.
Yeah.
I don't know who said that quote, but I love that. Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest tragedy is getting what you think you want and then realizing that's not what you want.
That's probably the deep meaning of that quote.
Right?
I think. Yeah,
because like you see it with celebrities where they're on top of the world, they've got all the money, the fame, everything that they thought they wanted, and then they're still painfully unfulfilled. And it's like, yeah, man, that's the inner work. The money's not going to fulfill that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like when it must be a rush, right? Making money, getting power. Then that becomes their addiction. That's the drug of choice, and then it never ends. And you're just always striving for more, but you never find an ending. There's not enough that will fill what you actually need.
Yeah, absolutely. And it requires a lot of inner work, and I think most people aren't willing to do that.
Cocaine's a good example, though, man, because like I've had friends that been deep in cocaine and they have sex on cocaine, which I've never done, but apparently it's like, the best sex. And then you come off the cocaine and sex becomes very boring.
Yes.
And it's like, and Amy Winehouse even said it, like when she stopped doing cocaine for a bit, she was winning all these awards and accolades, and like it meant nothing to her because she wasn't on coke.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not fun without the coke. And again, that's just a chemical problem.
It's also resetting the default. It's like I mentioned before with the dopamine. I mean, that's a bit of an extreme example, but the resetting your dopamine back to an acceptable level means that you don't have to reach these ridiculous highs in order to feel good. And it takes a while for your bar to sort of come back down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But then your everyday life feels better. That's the crazy thing. Then everything you do just feels better. Like you're just walking down the street and you suddenly appreciating things more. It is crazy.
Because it's not like it's like what follows an extreme high, an extreme crash.
Yeah.
It's like, but if your level of life is set to a point where the odd little night out where you have like a good time with your mates or whatever, doesn't follow a massive crash down to your default level. If it just comes back to a nice, healthy state, you can live. You can do these exciting things. Maybe stay off the drugs, but like you can do these exciting things, and you don't come back down to a massive crash.
Yeah, and I mean when we're talking about drugs, like this is generally like, cocaine, not good for you. Heroin, not great for you. Like ketamine, it will fuck up your bladder. But there's other drugs that you can do that's going to be all right. That'll open and expand your mind.
Are we talking mushrooms here?
Yeah, mushrooms,
ayahuasca,
LSD, all of that, DMT. Like, it's very difficult to get addicted to DMT. That stuff's so heavy I haven't done it, but I've read up on it. You're not going to do DMT all the time. Like you won't be able to. Mushrooms is the same. Like it's a lot. I mean, I've microdosed mushrooms for years, but
I've wanted to try mushrooms. I remember my friend Tune was always trying to get me onto mushrooms. He was like, mate, you need to try some. And I'm like, I was always apprehensive of anything that could take me out of like being in control of my own consciousness, I guess. But I would try it under controlled circumstances.
I mean, microdosing mushrooms is a great like starter way of getting into it, because you're doing like 1/10 of a portion that you would take recreationally or like to expand your mind or whatever. And so when I microdose mushrooms, like there's no altered state of consciousness. It's more like a feeling.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. Like it grounds me. This whole thing that we've been talking about, grounding, the mushroom really allows you to do it. It like just sits you firmly into that good place.
Yeah.
And there's no negative impacts. Like they were looking at the chemical compound of mushrooms, and it's exactly the same shape as I think it's serotonin, the natural form. So that when it wears off, it's just like it does it naturally. There's no come down. There's none of this.
Yeah.
It's just.
Mate, should we do a podcast in your new studio, but on shrooms?
Well, we could do a microdose. Yeah. My problem is I am very aware that I get paranoid really quick because of all my past drug abuse. So I need to be careful. I need to be careful.
You missed the way his eyes went.
Like I get paranoid on my own.
Yeah.
Let alone if there's another human being in the room. Yeah. And I'm working on that. Yeah, I would love to get to a point where I can take shrooms with you in the studio.
That would be pretty fucking epic. I would do that. I would do that for sure.
Really? I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, well, I've wanted to do it. I've just never went out of my way to do it. But if there's someone there that knows
it'll be fun. And then we've got the incentive of the podcast as well.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, to be fair,
just for content, creating content.
The highest I've ever been was having hot sauce. Because hot sauce fucks you. No, I swear to God, right? Like you take enough hot sauce, you get fucking. You'll say things that you wouldn't normally say, and you feel like your whole body tingles and shit. Like this one behind me, this fucking the bomb hot sauce that I keep there as a memento of the time I nearly died. It's like it's wild, man. I was like saying shit and seeing fucking.
Yeah.
I could hear colors. It was fucked. But let's with just on the back end of the ADHD thing. What is there anything that you still feel is misunderstood that really annoys you about ADHD? Like anything that we haven't said?
I think I appreciate that there's a lot of people coming out saying, "Oh, I've got ADHD."
Yeah.
And that it might feel a bit like a cop out, or like, "Oh yeah, everybody's got ADHD now." But I think at the risk of like overlooking that maybe a person is struggling, if people say they have ADHD, they might actually be asking for support.
Yeah.
And everybody's like going through their own struggles, but the ADHD thing, I don't know, like I think people underestimate sometimes how difficult it really is, and it's all the time. Like it's not like you know, oh, you said you had ADHD months ago. Like, what do you mean you've got ADHD? Like all the time, it never goes away. And so when people feel that they're brave enough to say it, you know, like explore that with them.
Yeah. Because
maybe they fucking have.
Yeah.
And maybe they need support.
Nice, man. Nice. Let's talk about Heywood and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Because it's rare that I get to interview another podcaster. I've had a few on, but you're quite an experienced podcaster at this point. You're quite an experienced interviewer. So what drew you to start the podcast? What kind of conversations did you initially want to have with people?
Yeah. Well, I started my YouTube channel, Heywood and Stuff. I mean, in hindsight, really, because I wanted to talk about mental health and my journey with mental health. And I think because I was at a point where I had just enough kind of awareness, and like I reflected a lot on my past, where I was like, oh, I can share this now. And so like one of my first videos was talking about my journey with alcohol, and I got really good feedback from it, and when I say good feedback, I mean like people that could relate and it helped them. And I was like, this is why I'm doing this for now.
Yeah.
And after a bunch of like videos talking about me, I wanted to start talking to other people about them and their journey. And then I just started doing the podcast, and it was like an extension of that. It was talking about mental health, people's struggles, how they overcame it, if they overcame it. And quickly learnt like all the dynamics and how it's so much more than just me. Like other people other people have struggles too, and they're different. Right?
It's all about me.
Yeah, right. And I loved that, and I had a lot of fun doing that. I converted my like garage downstairs. Like I was doing podcasts in sub-zero temperatures. Like
was that your original brick? There was a brick wall episode.
Yeah,
So was that your garage?
That's the garage. And in a couple of the episodes, you can see like the condensation, and it was fucking cold.
Yeah.
But it was fun, right? And then I did another like sister podcast with my partner Briggy, and that was really talking about, you know, a neurodivergent couple raising, you know, our little family and navigating a relationship with ADHD, autism, and everything that comes along with that, and not talking about it in a way like, oh, we know all the answers, but like our experience and
it's
what
a discussion of it. Yeah. It's not preachy.
What we've learned up until this point. And so that was always really cool. But after a year of doing the podcast, I kind of took a back seat from it because I was talking about mental health on the podcast. Then I was editing mental health. I was talking to other people about mental health. And then I was struggling with my mental health. Like it was almost a bit of a trigger. And I'd be talking to these people about their mental health, but then taking it on a bit too much myself.
Yeah.
And then I realized like I need to change things up a little bit. And so I took a bit of a hiatus from the podcast, which kind of gave me the space to realize like, hey, I want to do podcasts for other people without me in it. So it went from like, it's all about me, which I still think is great, to like, it's all about you and facilitating that.
Yeah.
And I still love doing the podcasting because my favorite bit is what we're doing now is sitting down with someone and opening up ideas and opinions and like discussing that. That's my favorite bit. So I try and do like one a month, but I also give myself grace. Like if I haven't got enough space for it, I won't. I'm not gonna like sacrifice my mental health for it.
Yeah.
And like I'm sensitive, man. Like I push myself too hard, and then I like start feeling sad, and it's like it's not worth it.
There's a point where you've got to, you know,
I'm trying to always be more in tune with what I need as opposed to what I want.
Yeah, no, that's good, because I mean I went through a phase where I was trying to do one every week and it was just fucking outrageous. It was just like it's too much time, it's a lot, energy, man. And whatnot. Like we were saying on your show, it was like it's like a second job.
It is a second job.
It's a lot more than just turn the mics on, turn the cameras on, and it's magically put together. It's like, no, there's fucking loads of work.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff just from the tech, and then from the editing, and then the shorts, and then like, you know, I used to really be hard on myself on how much of a response an episode would get.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they don't get any, and then I would take that way too personally, and trying to figure that out as well, like just to stop taking it personally, and at the same time get better, you know, but enjoying it in the process.
Yeah, I've had a few episodes where I'm like, why the fuck didn't that do better?
I know.
And I'm like raging. I'm like, why are you fuckers not listening to my show? You know, I've got all these cameras and lights and shit, and you're not listening. What the fuck? But do you? It's funny, you know, because I'm open to interview like pretty much anyone on this show, right? And especially podcasters. And a lot of people might look at that, and we discussed this, of the collaborative frame of mind, because I said I love when other podcasters talk to other podcasters, because it's like an Avengers level crossover, and I'm like, oh, it's Infinity War all over again, you know? But I'm like, I don't trust people who are in the frame of mind where it's like, it's going to detract from my show. So having you on does not detract from this show.
No, of course
right?
not. And
vice versa, right? Having me on your show does not take away from your audience. It's like people can listen to two shows at once.
Yeah.
But I'm like, some people are they're reluctant to collaborate with other people.
It comes from a place of fear, man.
It is.
It is. There's an insecurity there. Like if you've been working really hard to build up your brand, and then you think someone else is going to steal all your followers, but it's bullshit. Like one person doesn't listen to one podcast.
Yeah, there's no downside to having somebody else in the same industry as you.
You
talking.
know, when I started doing the podcasting thing for other people, I quickly realized like the more stuff that I give, the more stuff I get back in return.
Yeah,
and it's like, and it's not done with that intentional thing, but it's like, you know, you learn from other people, and so you're always going to learn from doing podcasts with other podcasters. Like it's a missed trick, man.
Yeah, man. What's been your favorite moment of your show? Do you have one?
Of my show?
Yeah. Like a moment that you've either, maybe it's one that you've recorded where you weren't in it, maybe you're on the sidelines doing all the tech and stuff, or maybe it's one moment that you were in that really stood out for you, like a conversation that you were like, that was really good.
I've had a couple of, I don't know, I mean, actually, it's a good question. I've had a couple of episodes where where like half an hour in, I've absolutely completely forgotten that we're doing a podcast, and I'm just having a chat, and we're unpacking things that opening up ideas which I'd never thought of before, and learning at the same time, and the other person doing the same. And I'm just like, this is fucking great. I mean, it just feels like real raw life happening. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, an hour and a half is gone in a click, and you're like, that was good. And it doesn't even matter if I didn't publish it at that point. I was like, this was a really valuable thing. I think, like, broadly overall of it, it's just learning from people, you know?
Yeah.
Just learning from people.
That's one of the things I love on, because I'm willing to be proven wrong. I will, you know, I'll not just be like, take on any new ideas without questioning at first, but I love when someone teaches me something new on the show, because I'm like, then I'm more invested in that story. I'm more invested in their episode, because they can teach me something.
And you know what? Like, we don't even have to agree with what the other person's saying to learn from it. You're still learning from it. Like, the people with different opinions, that's still their opinion, and I don't know. There's tokens of like gold and everything.
Well, there's no point in having a belief if it's never challenged. I think that's like, if you just hold this belief and no one can challenge you on it, then it's kind of like, it's very fragile.
Yeah, that's why I feel super lucky with my partner, because she challenges a lot of the shit that comes out of my mouth, and then on top of it explains why, and then I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
because we had.
And then I walk away with that, and then I walk away with like a broader like concept of stuff.
Because we had like a healthy sort of back and forth on your show as well, and when we came away afterwards, and we were like, that was fucking good. That was like, nice. That was how it should be. Yeah. And I think that obviously I was going to have you on the show anyway, but that made me want to have you on even more, because I was like, here's someone who's not just, you know, you're not just going to kick off every 5 minutes because someone doesn't agree with you. Yeah. It's like, you are one of those people who can have healthy debates.
Yeah, I think it's important to like detach from your opinion and who you are as a person. Like, if you would disagree with something, it doesn't mean that your identity is at threat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think often that's when people start getting angry, is because they think, oh, you're threatening my very existence. It's like, well, no, you can share your opinion without. Yeah.
Because not everyone knows the same things you know. Not everyone has the full picture. Yeah. So if you can help someone fill that in without being a preachy, arrogant dick, or them getting mad at you, that's what I think it should be. That's why I love the medium of podcast, because you get like an hour and a half, 2 hours to completely cover all ground. It's not like a 2 minute sort of mic to the face kind of interview where you've got to give so much context. It's like, these things matter, and that's why I think people are loving podcasts more, because they feel like a third member in a conversation.
Yeah. I think people are craving like slower form, like get into something. Yeah. Rather than like the 30-second clips.
Yeah. Although the clips are important.
I love
the
clips. They are important, but the scrolling is a problem, right? Like I do it every evening. Like when Briggy takes Bella to bed, there's like an hour window where I'm kind of, unless I'm working, I'm sitting on the couch going through TikTok. Yeah. And I know sitting down, like, this is not going to be good for me. But I do it anyway. And, like, I've got so much conspiracy shit on my TikTok at the moment. And I know it's 90% bullshit. And I'm like, I can't wait to see what the aliens are going to do next.
It's when it's AI footage. The AI voice pisses me off. I'll instantly scroll. It's like, you won't believe what this man found under his house. And you're like, I don't give a fuck. It's AI.
Have you seen there's more and more like with Sora 2 or something, like this new video
That's
AI.
Wild. I'm loving Stephen Hawking dropping in like Tony Hawk. That fucking sent me.
So this is like a real like pivotal moment where we're enjoying some of these like AI created videos because they're outrageous and they're ridiculous. Give it 10 years, like that's going to be the majority of content on social media. Yeah. And it's like, and we'll be numb to it by then.
Well, I was watching...
So all social media will lose credibility. We won't know none of it will be real anymore.
Yeah, I was loving watching Tupac and Hitler at a WWE match. That was fucking mint. I was like, yes. But it is funny that I was saying this. Was I saying this to you the other day? I can't remember. But we were saying like, in future, because you could make a movie with like, say, Saw 3 or 4 by that point. You could make a movie and you'll just pay an actor for their likeness. And you'll just run the voice through a software, and you'll make a movie that they'll not have to act in. Yeah. You know, you'll have Robert De Niro look really young in a film again without special effects. It's just AI, but it's mad.
I kind of like it. Some people don't, but also you like one step further. You'll be able to watch a film, and you'll watch it, and you won't really like the ending, and you'll be able to put in the prompt. Can you go back to the third act where thing dies, and can you make it a happy ending? And they'll do it really well.
That's like a choose your own adventure film. Like certain things happen in the plot, but then you can change.
I really believe like the future of media and entertainment is going to drastically change.
Well, they're
going to ask you what you want. You'll tell it, and then they'll show you a unique film that no one in the world has ever seen to your requirements. But I don't know what will happen long term when you have that kind of shit.
Well, no one will be able to discuss films anymore because everyone will have different
So at the moment, we're enjoying watching like Tupac and Hitler like doing their thing, right? But give it.
Who thought that would be a line anyone would ever say?
But it's only fun because we know of the real Tupac and Hitler from like educational media, right? But give it 50 years, 100 years, all the characters on media are going to be AI created. We'll completely lose touch of like real.
Yeah, Hitler's going to have his own YouTube channel, and people are going to watch it. You know
what, and it'll probably be quite good.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, yeah.
You'll be like, oh, well, no.
I tried to read this book once upon a time, and it was fucking madness. But it's just AI will. I think AI will. I don't think it'll not replace people in the way that they think it will, because people still need to people will still need to use the AI.
Why?
But what do you mean?
Why?
Well, you'll have to give it the right prompt for a while. You'll have to change things. It won't always get it right. Like what is it? I was using 11. There's 11 labs and things like that where you can upload your face and then synth the voice over the top, and you can tell it's still AI, but it looks fucking accurate.
Look how far AI's come in 2 years. In 2 years.
Well, it was like it went from Will Smith eating spaghetti to Stephen Hawking,
and now with the sound and like they understand like physics and lighting dynamics and stuff.
Yeah,
like they've already brought out films which have got like AI influence. I don't think it's going to be long before AI will be like the majority.
Oh yeah,
I think it's going to be. And we can't really guess what's going to happen.
No,
what I do
we
think.
never thought it'd be this far.
What I do think's really like promising for us as podcasters is I think people are going to be even more appreciative of real people. And so like if you've got two podcasts, one made by AI and one by a person, and it's talking about parenting, for example, the AI podcast might make a really strong two people podcast with opposing parent views, and it says all the right things, and it's like really interesting. And then you've got two normal people. As long as that normal people, like people,
actual humans,
as long as as long as it's got a fucking stamp on it saying like not AI generated, I think people will want to see the real people one, even if it's not as clean and slick and like I don't know, clean and slick, as opposed to the AI one, which can take out all the ums and the buts and the the fluff. People want that authenticity, and we're going to crave it more than ever because everything's going to be AI generated.
Well, AI probably won't. I mean, I'd say this probably won't. It probably will, but I don't think it'll understand nuance as much as humans can.
I don't know, man.
The part to comprehend.
As a human being, you're going off your experience of 29 years, right? Mm-hmm. And all the people that you've met, and taking little bits. AI is the experience of every human that's ever experienced anything. Yeah. So they can, if you prompt them like understand nuance, they'll fucking get it. They'll get it, and like that.
Well, what's great?
It's like they understand sarcasm. They understand dry humor. Like nuance will just be another thing in the algorithm.
I've started calling ChatGPT bro because it'll just not get something right, and I go, bro, what are you doing? And it's like, my apologies. It's great. It's like
I used to try and trick chat into saying it loved me.
Did it? You like love bombing,
and it wouldn't. I was like, you bastard! Like you've just been talking to me for 3 hours,
and you don't love me after 3 hours.
Like you're gaslighting me, bitch.
I've got a better relationship.
But I got him to say it.
Yeah, I've got a better relationship with Gemini now than I do ChatGPT. ChatGPT pissed me off. It stopped doing things that I wanted it to do because it was like, I can't make this, and Gemini is like, I'll make whatever the fuck you want, pal. And I'm like, yes, that's the kind of shit I need.
Chat's funny. Like people that have got like a pro thing, the subscription, and then chat kind of adapts the way that it speaks to the person so that it matches, right? And I've seen other people's, and it's like their chat is like so different. Like there's this one very Geordie guy, and he's like, but can I say Raj? Like I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because I'm not Geordie.
Yeah, say Raj.
And I love the guy, but the way he speaks is like rah. And his chat speaks to him back like that. And I'm like, if chat spoke to me like that, I'd be like, I don't like your tone. You know what I mean?
Mine called me mate for the first time the day. It was like, no problem, mate. I was like, fuck you. But me and Luke share a GPT, so it kind of doesn't, it kind of confuses us both. But
it's mad.
In terms of society, because we, as one of my sort of final questions for you, I'm curious, we went deep into the state of the identity in the world, and we went into like a great little debate. Is there anything going on in the world that really pisses you off? Is there anything going on that just boils your piss?
I mean, there's loads of things happening in the world objectively, which is...
It doesn't have to... I'm not talking about like wars or anything, but is there something that maybe society's just... You're like, just see this, will you?
The thing that I find frustrating is the lack of compassion that a lot of people have for other people that they don't understand. It's like, I was speaking to this one parent the other day, and we were talking about the fucking co-ops always getting nicked, people always robbing stuff. And his kind of viewpoint was that these people are scum. And I'm like, nah, I don't think it's that black and white. I just don't think one thing equals another thing. I think we need to have more compassion for like the struggle that a lot of people have, whether it's like mental health or financial or whatever, or like neurodivergent. I don't know. I think as a society, like if we don't understand something, instead of trying to fill in the gaps with judgment, it's like either look into it and be curious, or just shut up. Like just leave it alone. Like, why do you care that much?
Yeah.
What's the problem here? And if there is a real genuine problem, like try and figure it out in a way that it doesn't negatively affect other people.
Yeah.
But it's complicated, right? Because their argument might be, well, it does negatively affect me because of them, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah, but it's, like they don't think about it after a couple of days kind of thing. Like,
yeah, I just think there needs to be more compassion and like appreciate that you might not know the whole story. It's like when you talk to someone and they're like really shitty with you. It's like they might have had a really bad day.
Yes.
They might have something really bad might have happened.
Someone cuts you off in traffic. It's like maybe they're really late for something that they need. Do you know what I mean?
And we're all so quick to take offense and be like, God, you're a dick because you weren't nice to me. Essentially, it's like, well, it's not that simple.
Yeah, I'm just like, I hope that like it's when someone comments on a TikTok or something like that, and it's just like, hope you have like they're horrible, and I'm just like, hope you feel better now, mate. Yeah. Have a good day.
Yeah,
it's like
the troll world is bonkers.
Yeah,
but it's like,
meet them with compassion.
What is it? Yeah, it's anyone who's trolling is like, they need a hug, really, more than anything.
Yeah. But no, I would agree.
There's a lot of struggle out there.
Mate, this has been a fantastic chat.
Yeah, it's been nice.
But I have one final question for you, which I ask all the guests that come on the show. And it's quite simply, do you consider yourself a success?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Would you like to expand on it?
Yeah, so there's success to me is just it's being open to growth, I think. And just trying to better yourself. It's not about being the best. It's about taking the steps needed to have a more healthy, like mentally healthy, physically healthy life. Doing, and being like a source of, being like, I don't know, not a source of positivity for others, but a source of like safety for others. And meeting people where they're at in their journey, and like not preaching, but just kind of, I got you sort of thing.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm a success. I'm also a really good dad. And I think that's probably, when I look back on my life, that would be my biggest achievement, to be honest. It's also the hardest job I've ever done. So that kind of makes sense.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I love that answer. Nice,
Thanks.
Man. Nice. So where can people follow you? Where can people find you and find more about what you do?
It's all about Heywood and Stuff, or Stuff Podcast. So you can find me on Heywood and Stuff on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel is Heywood and Stuff. And then my business is Stuff Podcast Studio, which you can find on Instagram.
Have you moved now, by the way? You moved?
Haven't moved yet.
Haven't moved yet. When are you moving?
Still in North Shields. I'm not sure. Hopefully soon. But I can't say.
I'm really excited to see the new space because I really like the sexy ass studio you had beforehand.
So the dream will be, and it will happen, it will be like the space I've got now, just a bit bigger.
Yeah.
A meter either way, even up.
Did those things stay on the wall, by the way? Are they still?
They're still on the wall.
Because you were putting them up the day when I came to the studio, and you were like,
those fucking things are still on the wall. And
nice.
Every time I start recording with clients, I'm like, today's the day they're going to fall in the background. But no, they're stuck on there. I'll be bringing them with me.
Nice.
Thank you for having me on today, then.
Yeah, anytime, man. And listen, guys, please obviously go and follow Heywood on everything he does, because his podcast is fucking mint. It might even be better than mine, but that's saying a lot as well. But as always, guys, please rate the podcast a 5-star, not 4-star, right, Heywood?
No,
always
five,
a 5 stars.
five
It's got to be
top.
5 stars, or just leave. And also, if you enjoyed it, no matter what you're watching this on or listening on, there will be some way to rate or like the show as well. But until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you all very, very soon.